One fine morning, a group of ducks were swimming in a pond. A mother duck had made her nest by the water. She was sitting on her eggs, waiting for them to hatch and her babies to come out. "These eggs are taking a long time to hatch," she sighed to herself. She was lonely sitting there all by herself. Soon the eggs started cracking one by one and the babies tumbled onto the floor of the nest. "How beautiful they look," the mother duck exclaimed happily. The little ducklings stared in wonder. "How big the world is," they chirped. And so it seemed after being inside an egg. "Oh, the world is much bigger than this," quacked the mother duck. "Now is everyone hatched?" "Oh dear, no, that big egg is still there." The mother duck thought of sitting on the large egg a bit longer. So she sat on it and waited. Before long the mother duck heard a tap and soon the new baby toppled out of the egg. The mother stared. "This is awfully big and ugly," she said to herself. "Well, I will just have to make the best of it." The next day the mother duck led her family into the water. All the ducklings, including the ugly one, enjoyed gliding over the water. The mother duck then took her family to the barnyard. She introduced her ducklings to the old duck, who had a ribbon around her foot, which meant that no one wanted to get rid of her, and that was a great honor. The turkey came and met the ducklings. He said that he had never seen such a big ugly duckling. That was the beginning of the duckling's problems. His own siblings were mean to him and did not want to play with him. The hens in the barnyard pecked him. The ugly duckling could take it no longer. That evening he flew away from the barnyard. He found himself beside a great marsh where wild ducks lived. He felt very tired and lonely. The wild ducks asked him who he was and he said that he was a farm duck. They commented that he looked clumsy. There was a chill in the air and the trees were turning gold and red. 2 young wild geese landed in the marshes. The geese became his friends. They invited the ugly duckling to fly with them to another marsh. The duckling happily agreed. But before he could make a shot rang out and the geese fell into the marsh. He lay still in the marsh throughout the day. When firing stopped in the evening, he went on to the shore. It was very cold and the duckling reached an old cottage. An old woman lived in the cottage with her cat and hen. She allowed the duckling to stay in her cottage hoping that she would get eggs. The poor duckling missed the joy of gliding in the water. One day he left the old woman's cottage. He went to a big pond where he floated in the sunshine every day. One day he saw a flock of white birds with long graceful neck flying by. He said to himself, "I wish I could be their friend." Soon the cold winter winds began to blow and the duckling had to paddle hard to prevent ice from foaming. One morning his feet froze. A farmer saved him. He took the duckling to his home. The farmer's children frightened the duckling. The duckling escaped from the farmer's home and went to the marshes. He survived the winter, and one morning he realized how much he enjoyed the sunshine. The duckling stretched his wings and flew up in the air. He reached a big pond in the middle of the garden. He saw 3 beautiful white birds gliding in the water. He was afraid that they would not be friends with him because he was ugly. The duckling glided over to the swans and bowed his head. He saw another beautiful swan when his reflection fell in the water. The swan was no longer an ugly duckling. He was delighted. The other swans welcomed him to their family. At last he knew true happiness. The moral of the story is, do not judge a book by its cover or treat people differently simply because they look different.